Welcome to A More Brilliant Life. We share inspiring stories from people who hit rock bottom, faced their challenges, and transformed their lives. Learn how you can rise above expectations, discover who you are, and reclaim your future.
Yeah.
And I just remember thinking, oh, this is why now things are starting to make sense. Like, this is why fear, or when they get sick, that's when you get scared, and it's actually valid. Do you know what I mean? Like, all of a sudden, it just seemed to me like, oh, okay, like this is actually real life.
Welcome, Ana Brenes, to A More Brilliant Life podcast. This is the podcast where we talk through people's life transitions, life transformations, personal transformations, career transformations. But I want to know, like, go back all the way back to the beginning, Ana, kind of how has everything unfolded for you, and just how have you gotten to where you are today? Because we know the incredibly successful person you are today, and you are a relocation expert that helps people move to Costa Rica. But let's start from the beginning, Ana. Where were you born? Where'd you grow up?
Sure.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to be here with you,
thank you,
Jake. Well, I come from a lovely family. I was very, very lucky to be born in a wonderful family. I was born in San Jose in 1969.
Okay.
So that was a big year.
Yeah.
I'm 56 years old. I am the youngest of three, and the oldest is my sister, and then my brother, and then I come along.
Your parents?
My parents are now 95.
Wow.
My mom and my dad is 90.
Both
he
living.
Just turned 90.
Wow.
Both living. We're very grateful. We come from a very in Spanish you say Longeva. The family is very Longeva. They live until they're very old. I guess a very healthy family. So I hope I got those genes going for me. But basically, my dad is a brewmaster. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, but she was always needing to do something. So she would cook. She started figuring out what to occupy herself with, because she always wanted to be active, and so she became a chef in the process and started teaching cooking classes at home to her friends. And then of course her friends told their friends, and kind of that's but it was always like a party. They would then sit down and like have a glass of wine and eat whatever they cooked, and it was great. They were all friends from years and years. So this turned into what my mom did for the rest of her life. Okay. Until she retired, of course. And I think my dad probably retired 15 years ago.
Did you say he was a brewmaster?
A brewmaster, yeah. He started chemistry.
Okay.
And then he in the U.S. in San Francisco in a community college.
Okay.
And then when he got back here, he met my mom. Months later, they went to a luncheon together, and let's say the biggest stock owners for the brewery, it was only one brewery here, were at the luncheon, and they got talking. And when he said that he had studied chemistry, I guess they liked him, and he thought he was a cool guy. So they asked him if he wanted to come for an interview on Monday, hired him, and sent him to the U.S. to become a brewer, like a brewmaster. Wow. I guess brewmaster is, you need to study for a certain time to then get that. But and then every other year he used to go to Germany and other countries just to get updated, get an update on his training. So cool. I was always very happy with his career.
And then, so did you, what about after your parents? Did you go to college in San Jose? Yeah.
Well,
university?
I think I would like to say they made a huge effort to send the three of us to private schools, which in Costa Rica means bilingual schools, like fully bilingual. Clearly. Yeah. Because that would really change the opportunities that we would have when we finished high school. So we all went to university after that. I wasn't sure what I wanted, so I kind of I did like an executive assistant degree that was 2 years. It was long, but only because I wanted to be in a position to go to work and then kind of live my life and see what I really love. You know, like my parents, I've always felt a little misunderstood, right? Like I don't perceive things as my brother and my sister did. They just wanted to go and get a career and then go to work.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just not sure, like I have to test it out. So this was a great first step. I then worked for 10 years.
Okay.
And then I realized, okay, I want to do like international affairs.
Where did you work for 10 years? What was that?
I was an executive assistant.
Okay, I got you.
Like
and would you go to
multinational firms. Well, it was actually, it was called the Centro Cultural Norteamericano. So like the North American from the U.S., like the U.S. Cultural Center. So they teach English, and they also have certain degrees that are like 2-year degrees where you can become either like an English teacher or you can do, and they had this very good degree for being a bilingual executive assistant. And so it was all very much emphasized on the English.
Sure.
So what they really wanted was to prepare us to be wonderful translators, to write really properly, proper English, and sort of reinforce whatever the grammar that we learned in high school and elementary. So that's what I did. And then I worked in multinational companies, several, like KPMG, Coca-Cola, Millicom.
All in the San Jose area?
Yes, in the city.
Wow.
And then I told my parents, I want to go back to school. Now I want to go to school. And my dad's like, what? Like, hurry up, because I'm going to retire soon. Like, I'm like, yeah, I'll hurry. So.
And this was after, you went back to school after 10 years?
After 10 years. After 2 years.
And what did you go back to school for?
So I went to school for something called Relaciones Internacionales, which is translated as like international affairs or international relations. But I was not necessarily seeing it as like embassy work, like protocol and that sort of thing. I wanted to work in like NGOs, like big organizations that were dealing with, cooperation and how technical support and grants and this sort of thing. So I was very lucky that when I was done with school, I got a job at the University for Peace in a research project in exactly at the sustainability, like environmental sustainability department.
Okay.
So it was a godsend. I was very, very happy.
And how old were you at that point?
I was 26.
Okay.
26.
Okay.
And
So-
I'm very, very lucky to be there at that time.
Yeah.
Because I was hired as a research assistant, but they also taught a short course. They had some short courses from the same type of program that was doing the research. So I was also part of that. I was also assisting those courses and had to participate in a couple because they were missing one person. So the dynamic. So I was just like all around very lucky.
Cool. How long did you do that then?
I did that, I think, for about 2 years. And then I went away for another job. I realized I had it really good at University for Peace, not just because it wasn't like I was making a lot of money, but all the professors were outstanding, like Harvard, Yale. I mean, you have no idea the level.
Yeah.
But at that time, the university was just mostly focused on research and not necessarily master degrees. It was more like short courses and lots of research.
Okay.
So I actually had the opportunity when I came back, because I decided to come back, was to write. I helped one of the professors write a book about environmental services. Like, you pay for environmental services, like carbon. I don't know if you know what I mean.
Carbon credits.
carbon credits.
Yes.
So
yeah.
so he was writing a book,
Uh-huh.
and I kept saying, I'm bored, like, give me something to do. And he's like, okay. And then one day he said, you probably like wrote the half of the book, so like I'm gonna recognize you.
Wow.
And he put my name on it. It was
Oh,
amazing.
super cool.
But it was just, I've always been very curious, and I wanted to be busy and learning something.
Yeah.
I hated, that at 11 a.m. I was done with work, but I still had to be there until 4:30.
Right.
So I think, talking about transformation, I think always felt kind of different. I was like, why is everybody like just so chill? And I'm like, well, I'm here. I have geniuses right beside me. I have like a library that I cannot even describe. So why am I not taking advantage of this?
Sure.
So.
And so, have you always been like, like personal development focused? I mean,
Yes.
it always seems like you, at least you give off this this vibe to me that you care very much about developing yourself as a person, and growing and growth and learning and curiosity. And so, is that something that's always been a part of you?
Yeah, it's something like that. I just can't help it, Jake. I'm just alive, and I want to do stuff.
Yeah.
I want to take it, use my day.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that I'm not also lazy sometimes, and I just want to I want to relax and rest. That's been a learning experience for me, because you grow up thinking you have to be busy and doing things. Right. In this case, it wasn't like that. I was just really, I just very quickly realized that I was in a very special place with very special people who were there available for me. So I just wanted to pick their brain and help them with whatever, just to really have that experience of sharing some like really quality time with them.
So do you think the people in your orbit, in your circle, like really help bring you up? Like, for sure. Okay, so
they were the ones, I think the first ones that said, your curiosity is unique.
Yeah.
So treasure that.
Cool.
And like don't lose it. So
so how long were you at that?
So on and off, I was at the University for Peace for like 6 years.
Okay.
It was a big part of my life. When I was getting married, when I got married, so okay, wait, let's make a. So I the last time I left the University for Peace, I went to do a postgraduate degree at INCAE, which is a Harvard branch school here.
Wow.
And they offered it to me because I was working at the University for Peace and in the Environmental, Sustainable and Peace Development Department. And so they said, come, it's free. It was free for Central Americans. They were actually trying to get the 30 people that would graduate. So the first module, they had 90. Second module, they had 60. And then the third module, the 30 that, had proven to be the best. So I was invited to that process, and I told my boss, I said, if I go, and if I make it to the second group, then I won't be able. And he's like, so I'm going to have to hire somebody else. Like, I'm sorry. But, that the door is always open for later. Yeah. But I was ended up being chosen to be on the third module, and so I graduated.
You made it all the way through the program then?
Yeah,
Congratulations.
I graduated from the program.
Wow.
And basically the program was to create environmental consultants, but in a very informal sense, for the reality of Central American mini and, let's say, medium. Well, they say small and medium-sized companies, but really in Costa Rica and all of Central America, it's like 3 to like 25 people. That's what, so like mini companies that really can't afford much, but that little changes in how they are operating will make a huge difference. So that's what they were hoping to create. And they did, 27 of us graduated, everybody went back to their countries. The Chamber of Commerce and Industry from those countries were the ones that had said, we need this. But then they didn't know how to absorb us and like how to put us to work.
So where did you had to travel somewhere to learn?
No, it was here in San Jose.
Okay,
yeah, in Alajuela.
Okay.
So we did have to live there.
I see. Oh, I see.
During
so
the week.
all the people in the module were from Costa Rica.
No,
they
Central
came from
America, Nicaragua, El Salvador.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was one of 3 from Costa Rica.
Wow. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Oh, that's very cool.
So it was, we had incredible teachers. Like the whole program was insanely good, and then nobody could really use us.
Okay.
Like it was a little frustrating.
Yeah.
But then, one day I thought, okay, I'll try and see if I can find some work on my own, and I did. I worked for USAID, a few projects here and there. But then, everybody who is working for the agencies or the NGOs that are working, using up grants from these agencies, they have a few employees and they are barely surviving. So they can't really take anybody else unless you come in with a grant. So I thought, okay, well, I'm just going to let that go and go back. So I went back to the University for Peace.
Okay.
And worked in another. So I did a lot of different projects. I worked gender, and I worked. I did gender, so some environmental, but also social, like anthropology. I was in whatever would come up. I was like, I want to be a part of that. So they would include me because they knew me.
Yeah.
But anyway, then I met who is now my ex-husband.
Okay.
And
so after the program, you
I tried to be a consultant on my own for a while, probably 3 years.
But wait, let's jump back. So at what point did you get married?
So I got married when I was 36.
36. Okay.
So it had been.
And that was your first marriage.
Yes.
Okay.
First and only.
First and only marriage.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I was probably out there for about 7 years.
Okay.
I worked the last job I had, which has nothing to do with environmental consultant, was I was the assistant for a political candidate.
Okay.
Like I've done so many things in my life, and
you've lived a lot of lives.
Yeah. And that was kind of an insane reality check. So, but that's when I got engaged, and then I just thought, okay, I don't want that life. Because I was also 35 when I got engaged, and I thought, okay, if I'm gonna have a baby, it kind of has to be pretty soon, and I don't want to give myself all that stress, right? I just want to kind of have a nice. Was
marriage and a child always kind of in the back of your mind, or
definitely?
Okay.
Because I grew up in so my mom's family is very conservative.
Yeah.
And so I think children and marriages are celebrated, right? It's like they see you different. It's like, okay, you're now married and now you have a child. Okay. You deserve my respect.
I feel like living, we moved to Costa Rica. Obviously, we hired you as our consultant, but I do feel like it really helps to be here with children. It just opens so many doors, and people just instantly trust you or invite you or whatever it is. And then we've heard the experience of some other solo people down here, and it's a lot more of an uphill climb for some people to meet people, to at least, especially even to integrate into the culture. So I know exactly what you're talking about. I guess it does.
It's just easier to relate to you. If you're a couple, a married couple, and kids. If you just tell them that you just kind of lived together and had kids, they're gonna say, "What?" And they can't relate. I think it's the easiest for them to relate to you is how they will open up quicker.
Definitely the family unit is built into Central American culture, I think, and in a way that it's difficult for Americans or outsiders to grasp, or even Europeans too, I think. It's just as
I think what happened to me also was when my niece was born and my nephew were born, they're my sister's kids, so they were very close to me. They were always at my mom and dad's, and I was still living with my mom and dad's when they were still born, where they were just born. So I just felt like they were almost mine. And I just remember thinking, oh, this is why now things are starting to make sense. Like, this is why fear, or when they get sick, that's when you get scared, and it's actually valid. Do you know what I mean? Like, all of a sudden, it just seemed to me like, oh, okay, like, this is actually real life. This is how much loving somebody and like having to care for somebody, and how delicate and a super big responsibility it is.
Yeah,
you know?
it does. It seems like you experience emotions on a whole nother level when it's the responsibility of your child or another. It's a whole nother layer that it's hard to describe to people who don't have kids.
And it's like, oh, okay, this is. So I always wanted to, and I had such a close relationship with them, and I love kids. I've always loved kids. So I thought, okay, it's a little scary, but I would love to be a mom. And so it was not easy. As soon as I got married, I got pregnant. And then I had a miscarriage about 7 weeks later.
Wow.
The doctor said, let's wait 3 months. So we waited 3 months and tried again. I got pregnant. And then I had another miscarriage, this time at 8 weeks.
Wow.
By this time, my hormones and my emotional health was not good, because then I started thinking, oh, I might not be able to do it. But it's because also your hormones are crazy. So he said, okay, just try to cool down, like walk every day, just make sure that you're healthy. And let's wait. So he said, let's wait 6 months. I waited another 6 months, and we were, my doctor was like my second father. He was my dad's best friend, and like the family doctor, he was just like everything to me. And I could talk to him very openly. So one day I said, okay, so 6 months are coming up, and I don't know if I should wait a little longer. Like, I'm afraid. He's like, no, don't be afraid. This is normal. Like, your body sometimes this is, just be grateful for things as they are. The body knows. So I said, okay. So he said, okay, let's try again. And as soon as you're pregnant, we're going to need to be really careful. Okay. So once we tried again, I got pregnant right away again. So he said, okay, now you're going to lie down. We're going to give you a progesterone shot every week for 12 weeks. So they did. Okay. And I threw up all 9 months, but my baby was there. Oh my goodness. And finally I had my daughter.
How do you think those two miscarriages impacted the way you view life, or what impact do you think that they had on your perspective, or if any?
I think the way I felt it was, I think I'd been unhealthy and not really cared about my health. Really, because I was just like single for so long. Like all my friends were married, and I'm here like going out and partying, and always drank, because that's what we do here. Like, right? Costa Rica is not a big place for drugs, or at least it wasn't at my time. But drinking, like we drank all the time. So, and I used to smoke cigarettes until I got married. Okay. So it was just, I just felt like, my body's just not ready to carry a human being.
I got you. So the miscarriages maybe triggered this moment of, okay, I'm going to focus a lot of attention.
Well, even as I got engaged, I was getting married in May. On December 31st, I quit smoking, and I also said, like, I'm leaving behind like processed foods and things like that, because I knew that I needed to get ready for a baby. Like, I wouldn't have, and that. It's also like a moment of self-love or lack of, because I realized, oh my gosh, like, I'm ready to do this right away for another human being, but not for me. Like, it never crossed my mind that I was being not nice to myself, Yeah. And now I want to have a baby, and it's like, it's not fair for the baby to live in this filth of cigarette smoke and booze, right?
All right, please excuse the change in the audio quality at this point in the conversation. My daughter's screen time timed out, and that was the iPhone that we were using to record the audio with the lapel mics. So we're grabbing audio from my iPhone, but it's without the lapel mics.
So what other, besides obviously being able to carry a child to term, like what other impacts did it have on your health? I mean, energy,
I was just
like brain fog, like things like that.
I was just throwing up.
Okay.
Or about to throw up. You know that feeling when you're like you get this salty taste in your mouth and where you're just about to throw up. Well, imagine being like this 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
So either throw up or like be on the verge of.
Throughout the pregnancy.
Throughout all 9 months. And this is how my mom, her pregnancies were exactly like this. And I was the only one that inherited this. But I thought maybe it was the progesterone shots, but it was quite grueling. And you know what? I never recovered my appetite after that. Like she was born and I just never crave anything. Like I used to say, oh my gosh, I want like a burger with fries and like melted cheese and bacon. I have to be very hungry to feel that way anymore. Just something changed inside me because I threw up so much. But then I had this little perfect baby. And it was amazing. But it all happened also at the time that we were developing our own project, like starting our own business, because my ex-husband used to export flowers, tropical flowers. And he had a very successful business. But then 2008 happened, and my daughter came. She was born in 2006, at the end of 2006. So 2007 and 2008, we're starting to feel like how the business is being affected. And then in 2008, it literally died.
That was an economic crash, right?
Yes,
like global,
2000.
The global economy.
Yes, but remember that Costa Rica, we're totally sort of tied to the American, and I mean U.S. and Canada business, world.
And so in 2008, there was also like a tourism crash, I assume?
Well, because of the economic crash, everything that was luxury crashed. So tourism first thing, but also flowers. That was luxury. That was not a basic. It's not like exporting pineapple or, yucca, or something like that. This was luxury, and so it was the first thing to go. So we had thought about doing this bed and breakfasts 20 years from then. And then we're like, oh, okay, let's do it. And our friends are like, don't do it because tourism is not good right now. But we had nothing. We're like, okay, my ex-husband had three kids from his previous marriage. And we had a little girl and a huge property that we had to maintain. It was expensive. So we're like, okay, we need to do something. So we just kind of took the leap and built only 4 bungalows and kind of got the big house ready where we had like the restaurant side of it. We did the most basic that you can probably imagine, but the gardens were beautiful. We did build a pool that was freshwater, and it was nice. It was very nice, and the property was beautiful. Ponds and egrets would come to roost. It was beautiful.
And in 2008, there was obviously no Airbnb, but like, how were you?
Well, we're working now on the Airbnb. We started immediately, like building the Airbnb.
I see.
So we had some savings. And so that's how we're surviving while we're building. And a very good friend of mine, like his best friend, loaned him some money so that we could kind of finish that first step. And then everybody said, don't build any more bungalows because this is not a good time. Like this is going to get ugly. And so we stopped and we just kept the 4 bungalows. And we just kept working on the bigger house or the bigger building. Kind of whatever was not too expensive. And that's when I think, I mean, you could say God or like synchronicity, wonderful, whatever, something wonderful happened, is that somebody came over and said, this is a really beautiful place. Could we do a little party here? And I said, well, how many people? And they said, 16. And I said, okay, I have 16 plates. We're good. I have 16 white plates. That's how much I had purchased, okay? because we couldn't spend much, and I had just the basics. And then I just remember feeling so surprised by this. And then when she came over and we started planning the menu, like everything just lit up inside of me. I thought, oh, this is so cute, and fun, and you it's creative and artistic and at the same time, but I really want to get to know her really well so that I know that we hit that magic spot. And that was very cool. Like the food was diverse. Like she had all these ideas about what she wanted to do, and nothing kind of went with anything. But I thought, oh, cool, whatever. I'll do whatever you want.
And this is 2008 or shortly after?
This was 2009.
About a year.
But like the beginning of 2009,
Yeah.
we were. I think we took pictures of the finished product in March 2009. Okay. So I think that's around the time that she came, that the event happened. But we were still finishing up, and we were already talking about it. And it was only 16. It was a sweet 16 party for her daughter, but it was fascinating to plan. And then I see my ex-husband saying, "Hey, why don't we do like a bonfire by the pond?" And I thought, oh my God, like I just never expected it to happen that way. But then she said, "Is it okay if we invite the boys to come over later and get in the pool and then do the bonfire?" And we're like, "Yeah, sure," And I mean, we just, it was almost as if something took over and it was flowing.
Yeah.
We were not trying. We were not pushing. It was just happening.
Cool. And so it morphed from a bed and breakfast into an event center, basically.
That's what happened. That was the first event of 350, 400 events I ended up doing.
And that's over how many years, roughly?
14.
14 years.
14 years.
Okay, so you, in your primary role, was running an coordinating?
Well, we were thinking, okay, our initial idea was we're going to have a bread and breakfast. I'm going to make an amazing breakfast, really elaborate breakfast. Because that's kind of how I like to cook. I like to overdo it for some reason. Not necessary, but I do it. And I also hate doing what everybody's doing. I want you to feel special. Okay, you came here, let's do something really different, but delicious. So I put a lot of work into breakfast. And then I said, if they want to eat dinner here, I can just ask them very informally, listen, if you want me to cook you dinner, I can. Just tell me what you don't like, or if you're allergic to something, and tell me which one of the proteins you prefer, and I'll just cook you dinner. I mean, I'll go shopping and cook you dinner. So we would do that with our first guests. And who ended up representing us was Richard Betson.
Oh, wow.
Because Richard, the owner of Costa Rica Investments, who I now work with, Richard was one of the founders of Costa Rica Vacations.
Okay.
And my ex-husband's brother was married to an American who worked at Costa Rica Vacations. And so she one day said, hey, you know what? They're looking for somebody part-time. And it wasn't very, it probably took I probably did it for 6 months. When we were just getting the hotel ready, just because I was bored and I wanted to do something, and my daughter was already a little bigger, and so I thought, okay, I just want to, I get bored, so I'm like, okay, I want to do something. So I did that for them, and that's when I met Richard. So then, when we finally had the hotel ready, he called me one day and he said, well, I hear that you guys are ready to take clients and we want to come over. I'm going to send somebody, and if you want us to sell you, we will. So he was always super nice. And then one day I said, we are having too many events, and I'm thinking we're going to need to stop this. He's like, what? I said, well, I can't have, it's too small of a place, and we can't mix. It's not fair for anybody. So I think probably a year and a half in, we decided we need to use the hotel part only to support the event business, because now this was an event venue and not really a hotel. And so it had rooms, but only 4.
Okay, yeah, the 4 bungalows.
Right.
Yeah.
And we just, we needed to make sure that the people who were staying there did not mind the music and then we started to making bigger and bigger events and weddings and things like that were completely unimaginable to me, but that's what we ended up doing.
Wow. And it all just kind of happened organically. Yeah. Oh, that's really cool. And so that was a roughly 14-year period of your life.
Right. And so most of my clientele, not for the weddings, but a lot of the events that we did were with expats.
Okay.
Don't tell me why.
Yeah.
Again, that just happened.
Uh-huh.
And so I ended up becoming really good friends of all the community.
Uh-huh.
And because I would like to believe that what we had at the hotel was a really warm and inviting kind of, ambiance. A lot of people would bring their friends who were thinking about moving or thinking about renting or thinking about whatever. And they would bring them to me. And so I would help them and recommend and guide and put them in touch. So I started developing contacts so that I could send them because they were like, well, I have a heart, like I used to get a lot of older people and they were like, I have a heart electricity problem. And so they keep, putting me in these hotels that are like, I have to go to steps and then I can die and I need something flat. So I'm like, oh, I know. You need to go and stay in the beachfront bungalow at the Capitan Suizo in Tamarindo. Like, that's where you need to be. And he's like, well, nobody said anything. And I'm like, okay, let me intervene. So, I don't know what it is, Jake, but I always feel like it's such a small thing that you can do for someone that will generate a huge difference. So
That's very true. It just shows that you're present, that you're there, that you're listening, that you care.
Yeah.
All of that. So it comes through in a way, in a subconscious way. It's like, underneath. And then it just garners, just extreme trust, and it's not something that you can fake. Obviously, it for you, I think it's just unfolded that way because of the character that you had and the person you are. But I want to back up a little bit. So, at what point then did things start to kind of, or I should say it this way: at what point did you and your husband start to kind of split or lose the connection? Yeah.
Well, when I met my ex-husband, he was a recovering alcoholic.
Okay.
So he had been off drinking for about 10 years when I met him.
Yeah, and then I suppose the event center kind of complicated that.
Yeah.
Because he's around.
And he also started like concocting all these ideas. Like, I want to plant a vineyard because God is telling me that I need to plant a vineyard. And I kind of knew that he was, do you know how addicts try to somehow pull you in? But I'm smart enough. I could see what he was doing, but I also didn't want to, do you know how when you have a good marriage, you don't want to push?
Right. But he started to fall back into old
So he's very slowly. Like, he would have a little bit of wine and then a little bit more, but it took probably 3 years for him to go full on drinking, and he was only drinking wine. That's the only thing he would drink. But he just started with very little, and then, and also the thing that happened was he started to find a group of people and friends who drank a lot, and so. He was very smart about that. Like, I didn't really realize until, it got bad again. And I thought, I see. Because these people drink a lot. So he actually looked like he didn't drink at all. Yeah. But he was constantly drinking right in the middle of this group. And I honestly, at the beginning, he was okay. He was handling it, or at least I thought. And then it started to get really bad really quick. So.
No, it's really sad just how alcohol and drugs can just destroy people's lives like that.
Yeah.
And you gotta wonder what's going on underneath that even started in down that path. But,
I think So I have a guess.
Yeah.
I think that he's very insecure. He's not very tall, so I think they made fun of him when he was a kid. And maybe when he drinks, he feels stronger or taller or something. More like, do you know what I mean? Like significant.
Sure.
And so he was not wanting to hear anything about it. You know, like we all tried to talk to him and like explain.
So then did the divorce more or less?
Well, look at what happened.
Yeah.
When he was, like, I was getting ready to leave. A friend of his, so he developed a beautiful vineyard. And so some Italians and Spaniards, people would come over and like check it out. It's like, what's this? Like, who's planting a vineyard in Costa Rica? It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
I was thinking that. I can't imagine I've come across any other vineyards.
Yeah, he's a very stubborn individual. But it was beautiful.
Okay.
So.
And did the grapes produce?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was just not good for not good juice for good wine.
Okay.
But yeah, he would sell it to a winemaker here that makes
Good blended
wine. Yeah. But anyway, so this Italian guy who had been to the hotel invited him to come and do the harvest in Italy.
Wow.
And I thought, oh wow, this is the perfect opportunity. I need him to leave for a month while I get my bearings, because he's also a very strong presence. You know, he's the kind of people that scream, you know, that just talk like that. So I was like, I need to. And so we had a very successful year. So we had some money left. And so I painted my bedroom and I fixed my daughter's room. I just kind of did. And having him be away was actually very good for all of us. He would call us every day, you know, and he was so excited and it was beautiful and whatever. So when he got back, his older daughter was going through some personal things and she had a conversation with him, and I guess it hit him really hard. And we were all sitting, we had a huge kitchen with a huge island. He was sitting in one of the corners having breakfast. And I remember seeing him, he was on the phone with her, and all of a sudden he hung up and he looked as if something really terrible had happened.
Okay.
And then he gets up and he walks outside, and one of the girls in the kitchen, she's like, something happened. Like he doesn't look well. So I went outside and he's like, I can't breathe. So anyway, to make a long story short, we found out that one of his heart valves detached.
Oh my God.
He must have had some sort of like a congenital defect there, but anyway, he was in the hospital for 12 days in the private hospital. And then they realized that it was a heart valve. And so he couldn't breathe because the blood went straight to his lungs.
Yeah.
Finally took him to a state hospital, and they had to perform an open heart surgery. Realized that he needed a triple bypass. And we were there he survived it somehow. They gave us 10% possibility for him making it through, and he did.
And this is during the time when you were considering divorce? Or?
This is right after.
Right after. So
remember, I was considering divorce. He left for a month, and we all just kind of calmed down. And then 12 days after he came back, this happened.
Okay, so after he got back from the... Wow.
So...
And so...
He survived the operation. And we were at the hospital for a month and a half. Like, I had to be there with him 24/7.
After the divorce was finalized?
No. We never divorced. We never even separated.
Okay.
We were just in a very bad turmoil, but his leaving for a month kind of helped delay it.
I got you.
And then this happened, and then I have to take care of him as if he's a baby. Because when somebody has an open heart surgery, you need to everything. They can't. And he also had his lungs were pretty much collapsed. So he had 2 huge tubes, like where the water, you know, that liquid that. Okay. So anyway.
And how long was the recovery for?
So we were at the hospital for 1.5 months after the surgery. And then when they finally took the tubes out, we could go home. And then it took about another 4 months.
Wow.
We had to move to one of the bungalows because he couldn't go up the stairs. And I bathed him, I cured him, I did everything and work, because by now we had, you know, events and things that we had already.
In a vineyard.
And
How many people?
no, the vineyard, he had people who would help him at the vineyard, but for the events, I had to go shop, I had to go cook, I had to clean, I had to direct everybody, which he would sometimes help me do, like just making sure that everybody was organized and knew their roles outside. I was organized in the kitchen and shopping, but so that was difficult. But it was, whatever I'm saying is not even explaining it to like this degree. It was a very difficult, very, very difficult time. Everything was super challenging, and he had lost 60 pounds and just had no energy. He couldn't walk. He didn't want to see anybody. And then the day that my parents came to visit, we had been back at the hotel for maybe 5 days. He was able to sit up and like sit with them in a little terrace, and he told the waiter, he said, "Please bring me a bottle of wine and 4 glasses." I said, "Ooh." So he only had 1 glass, but they left. I'm like, "What are you doing?" He said, "Well, the doctor said that wine is good for your heart." I'm like, no. Like, you need to understand. Like, you have a problem. You can't do one. Like, unfortunately, with alcoholics, it's like black or white. There's no gray, because then you kind of fall into this out of control. He's like, "Well, you know what? I think God gave me a second opportunity, but I have a feeling I'm not going to live too long. So I'm going to live my life, and I'm going to enjoy it as I want to enjoy it." And so that was the beginning of the end for me. Because even though I would probably stay for another 8 months, he was just getting drunker and drunker, and he didn't have any resistance anymore. He would just drink all the time, all day. He would drink behind my back. It was very difficult.
I guess I'm curious, that period of extreme stress that you were under for roughly a year's time, what impact do you think that had on you? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, do you think it made you a different person, or
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, first it destroyed me.
Okay.
Because imagine the pressure of having a small baby.
Yeah. How old?
Well, she was born in 2006.
Okay.
When I left, she was 10.
Okay.
So,
young child.
she was just, when she was a baby, she didn't need a lot of attention, but as she got older, she did.
Sure.
So that was, it felt stressful to me because I felt bad, right?
Yeah.
But I was so busy. We were very successful. And so I was always busy. I always had another event and another event and another event. And at the same time, dealing with my ex, just having either being drunk or having a hangover, and then being kind of rude to everybody. And it was complicated. But I think the extreme stress destroyed me physically and mentally. But I remember that when I finally got home to my parents, because I just went back to my parents' house, because the hotel was in the middle of his family's farm. I couldn't just kick him out.
Yeah.
And we didn't really have a house. We lived at the hotel. It was like a second floor, like a mezzanine sort of thing that we made into a humongous, like the size of this apartment. That was the room. That was meant to be the office and whatever. We built it into like our little apartment for us. So I really didn't have anything to show for it. And I had no money.
Yeah,
because
when the separation took place, like...
When the separation took place, he said, "If you leave, like, you need to understand, I can't give you any money because I don't have any." And the moment that I left, he stopped making money because I was the one that produced the money. I would cook for the events. Like, that's what we sold. We did rent, we did charge some rent for the space, but it was insignificant. Like, what was expensive was the food. How many people, this is how many, how much per person. And So,
And do you think it had an impact on your daughter growing up in that environment? Yeah.
totally.
Uh-huh.
She felt she lacked his support because, and now she's 18 now. She tells me, even then, even being so young, I knew I couldn't count on him because he was drinking so much. Like, I don't know when that started, but I guess when she was a little bit more aware of what was happening, she was already older to realize, oh, okay, so I can't really count on him because he might be drunk. Like, if I want to go to ballet tomorrow at 10, he's probably going to be drunk. So my mom's going to take me. Or my mom's going to figure out somebody from the family is going to drive me. Or the driver, whoever, like the guy who worked at the place. So
then everything just kind of naturally morphed into working with your relocation. That happened right after this? Or
no, it was a hard road.
Okay.
Because I went to my parents.
Yeah.
I moved back to my parents. And so my dad was like literally paying for everything for my daughter and for me, because he wasn't giving us any money. He was only paying for a private school, which is quite a bit of money. I don't know where he would get that money from, but he finally got it. He hadn't sold the farm, so I didn't have my divorce settlement, and I knew when I signed the divorce that if the farm did not sell, I will not have one penny, like nothing. No house, no nothing.
I guess I'm not familiar. How does Costa Rican law support a situation?
Well, well, the thing is, because he had his own business. If the business is not making money, and he's been very smart to not have anything on his name, then even though, he needs to pay me alimony, if he has no money to show for it, then he goes to jail.
Okay.
So my daughter said, Mom, if you send my dad to jail, like, I will not talk to you ever again.
Yeah.
And my parents said, don't do that.
Right.
So I didn't.
Right.
So he gave us no money. He just paid for school, probably from loans. I don't know, because the business immediately stopped making money, and he got progressively worse. The moment I stepped out, he just went, rum, scotch, that works. He went back to smoking.
Yeah.
It was just crazy. So anyway.
And so did the property end up selling or not?
So the property ended up selling.
Okay.
I think we had to wait like 2 more years. So I was at my parents' house for 4 years.
Wow.
And the pandemic caught us right there.
Okay.
So first I worked at Amazon as like a call center, which
Okay.
was very interesting.
At home, from home?
No, I had to go to the office,
Okay.
which was insanely crazy
Yeah.
back then, because people are crazy.
In-
Because they let you come in your pajamas.
Oh, really?
Like, you see, it's like being, that Star Wars, that bar scene.
Yeah.
You see all this crazy, but that's how it felt. But they're nice. I don't mean to speak badly of them, but it was very different for me.
Yeah.
And having the studies that I did, like it meant nothing. It was heartbreaking and scary. And then I was able to move and go to McKinsey, which is a great company. And at McKinsey, I worked as an EA, so an executive assistant, for 4 years.
Okay.
Of course, the whole 4 years, and now that you know me, I was trying to like get a better job and do something more interesting and I never could. So that's when I bumped into Richard again.
Yeah.
He's on my LinkedIn and he's posting all this stuff. I'm like, Richard, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I didn't tell you. Like during the pandemic, like I decided to I took a year off and everything just kind of came into perspective. And so he decided to sell his shares and start this new company,
Okay.
Costa Rica Investments. So,
And that started in what, 2000?
so that started into 2022,
Okay.
the conversation.
So it's actually relatively young.
Oh, yeah.
The company is actually not.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
no, it's very young.
Wow.
It's just that he and I have
Yeah.
been involved in this world for many years
Yeah.
without really being like, I'm a relocation specialist or I am an investment professional. Like Richard was just in the perfect spot for 20 years to see what was working, what wasn't, making decisions about who to really work with, who to give preferential treatment to, like in their travel agency, just because you see, and also like when I had conversation with him, like we had a 2-month conversation going on about this. He said, it's almost like all of a sudden I could get into the mind of the people who were developing projects here, and I could see the really good ones. They were kind of doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
So you learn by experiencing, but also paying attention and just being observant. And he was able to see the opportunities. It was also huge leap that he took.
But I think you hit the nail on the head, because recently I've been doing a lot of planning for my parents' vacation. They're coming in January, and every once in a while I will come across one of Richard's, like the Manuel Antonio tree houses, and I'll be like, oh, yep, that's why people. I mean, that's why his properties are always 80-90% booked.
Yeah.
Because like they're just, you look at them and you're like, I want to stay there, and
But because it's 20 years of experiencing that, right?
Yeah.
That just gives you, and he's just really smart. I think, I don't know how to explain this. I just think he has a lot of common sense.
Yeah.
So that helps a lot.
Yeah. No, I mean, common sense and an eye for like picking the locations and like seeing like what, where the uncapped value is. Like, okay, this is I can see what this is today, but I want to know what this is going to be in 5 years.
Exactly.
I think he's got.
But also, I think is being really pushy and saying, no, there's nothing left. Well, I'm gonna go find it.
Yeah.
Like he would say, guys, I want you to go and like spend 2 days in Arenal, just drive around and look for sale signs, because we need a property that works, that has water. We need there are no more properties left we would get from the agents, but then we found some.
Yeah.
And not all of them worked out, but 1 or 2 or 3 worked out. So he's like, okay, I'm gonna make it off. He would study it, he would spend money, and he would study it, and then it's like, okay, I'm gonna make an offer, and then the neighbor would find out, and he's like, okay, I might be interested. Okay, give it to me. Like, I want it. I'll buy it now. So I think it's also like being, he gets a lot. He's very smart. He has a lot of common sense, but I don't know if it's called street smart or what is it?
Yeah.
But he has that. He has that. It's not just the vision, but he pays attention and he sees it all.
So you've been with that company now 3 years?
Yeah, 3 years.
3 years. Okay.
I resigned from McKinsey, which was, I loved it there, and the benefits were wonderful, but I was just so bored. I felt like I stopped growing. So now I'm here.
Yeah.
And the beginning was kind of intimidating because I didn't know how real estate worked. And the thing about real estate in Costa Rica is that it's very informal and messy. So it took me a while. Like Richard said, Ana, I know this is not ideal, but you have to learn by experiencing it. Like you have to, you start to feel, okay, so this person really knows what they're doing. This one doesn't know. And so that's fine, but I need to be upfront with my clients and say, I want you to prepare yourself. Like, this is a very informal real estate agent, if you can call him that. He's not certified or anything, but he knows the people in this community, and he has really great contacts for good properties. So I'm like, okay. Now the other one, he's a professional, or she's a professional. So I don't think anything is good or right. I'm just saying it's good to be able to communicate. I love clarity. You know that my 2 words are context and perspective. Those are my 2 words. So I've loved it. I've grown a lot.
Most of your clients are from the U.S., or what would you say?
Most of my clients.
The vast majority?
I would say 95%.
Wow. Okay.
Because since 3 years ago, I think Canada is just not in a position as it was 10 years ago. And so people are being tighter with their money and just not as confident with the economy. And so I think that they've really toned down. A lot of the Canadians who own property here are actually relieved because their property maintains value. especially at the beach, and they feel like that's not happening in Canada. Like it's just very, very odd. I have a new client now.
Yeah.
I'm working with him this week, and he's from Guatemala, but he lives in Canada.
Okay.
And the way that he's been explaining what's happening is amazing to me, because I didn't see it that way, because from the news just gives you a certain, and so it's difficult.
Yeah.
It's difficult for people to.
We've become really good friends with a Canadian family who also lives to some of the female, and they talk a lot about their home country and all the changes that have taken place over the past few years, and just kind of the craziness that they didn't want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
But
I think in the U.S., because Trump was starting to get close, like people were starting to say, oh, so then some of the, like, I can tell you that 1% of my clientele likes Trump.
Yeah.
Like 99% doesn't. And so they come, they're hoping to have a second home. If not, they sold everything, they just want to move.
Yeah.
But they don't feel completely confident with, they have no clarity.
Has there been a lot more interest in moving to Costa Rica since the second re-election, or since the first re-election, or like when was there kind of a wave, or has it just kind of been growing ever since Trump first got elected?
I wasn't in the business when he was elected first time, but I think that as people started to hear that he was going to run for a second time, I started hearing about that in my phone calls, and then I got scary calls like, please help me.
Is that the majority of your clientele then? Just people like we're fed up with the U.S. We're fed up with these politics.
Even if they start the call by like, we're thinking we would like a second home, and then they're like, my country's going through like absolute chaos. Do you understand? Like, okay, I get it. So it's usually after a long conversation, that's what's really happening.
Wow.
They just want to get away.
And so, because for Kylie and I, like, it wasn't so much of we want to get away from the U.S. It was more like we wanted to move to Costa Rica, and we wanted to experience an international living and culture and things like that.
But you are the exception.
Okay.
I probably have five clients like you guys who are actually like, okay, this is the good time, or I came for a third time and I just fell in love and I could see myself here, and I'm at that point in my life when I can actually do it, and so they decide to do it. But it's the minimum of my clientele.
I'm just trying to process that. I mean, a lot of it is then like we're running away from our country and we're moving to Costa Rica because we don't like what our country's doing. I'm just wondering what impact that has on their mentality about living here, or you know what I mean?
Well, I actually think that Americans have always moved everywhere.
Yeah.
There have been Americans in Costa Rica for years and years and years. It's just that there were much fewer, and there were not as many developments, as many properties to offer them. So most clients, they don't want to come and buy a lot and build a house or an apartment or whatever. They want to just go and buy something that is furnished, ready, that it has a gardener, a cleaning lady, everything ready. That's what they want. Because of the hassle of having to know people and coordinate, and I understand. But that's how you meet people. Like, that's how it is. So anyway, I think that Americans are just continuing to do what they've always done. But I think the pandemic really changed, shifted everything. I don't know how it was for you, Jake, but for me, it was like, wow, I want to go out and live, and I want to enjoy, and I am now more aware. Like, I went to a concert on Saturday, and I was standing there, and I was like, wow, this is so cool. Like, I'm feeling like all this beautiful energy. We're all loving this singer, and we're all singing, and everybody's happy.
What'd you go see?
Danny Ocean is his name. This is a Venezuelan guy, Venezuelan singer. So I just really, I treasure that now, because we couldn't have it, and I connection. Or when I go see my friends and we hug and we have a nice lunch together, and then I go home and my heart is full. I feel that.
So when you get done with your kind of your intake of your clients' interests and like where they want to live, is there a particular spot that most people are drawn to here in Costa Rica, or is it just kind of like really client specific? Or is there?
I think very client specific. What I would say is most of my clients, they do not know what they want.
Yeah.
So that's why it is my job to show them, because they don't know what it feels. I get a lot of clients who have never been here.
Yeah.
They've just heard that Costa Rica is a great place to live, but it's like, well,
it must be a really rough road for them. Though. I mean, do they move down here without having ever visited? Like really?
People, well, we usually suggest to them to rent first.
Yeah.
If they have never been here. Yeah. But I have clients who have never been here before. They buy a property on the first visit.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
And then they go home, come back, furnish it, ready, and either come and move into it for a few months until they kind of get settled and then start renting it. Or like I have clients, they bought here in Grecia in Cajon. They bought, like we were out 3 days. They chose one property. We negotiated for them. They bought it. And it's been 2 months. It's already fully furnished. It has the rollers, everything. They were just here a week ago.
Okay.
Fully ready to rent. But that's a very focused, and they're business people and they know what they're doing. I mean, I went shopping with them to the furniture store, and they said, just get out the list. Come on, we like this, and the girl and I were like, wow. But that's unusual. Yeah.
Are most people drawn to the beach, or I mean, obviously the Central Valley is like kind of another hot spot.
I think a lot of people love the beach.
Yeah.
But the younger people love the beach.
Yeah.
The older people cannot take the heat.
Right.
And they don't want to be inside the house with air conditioning just to survive it, right? So I think they usually end up staying, the older people usually staying in this area, or they have friends and connections in Playas del Coco or Potrero, like the smaller communities in North Pacific.
Sure.
Few older people in the South Pacific. I think my experience is that it's a younger crowd there because it's humid, it's more hippie-ish. You get older hippie people, of course, but yeah, it's always unique. Sometimes, I'm always surprised. What I try to do is, as much as I can, convey to them what my impression of those areas are like, weather-wise, community-wise, like how expensive and then it's like, okay, and then I need to show you, because what I tell you could be completely, like my experience could be completely different to yours.
Yeah, and it's so true. I feel like it's so important to like actually step foot on the place, because you can finally, like once you're there, you can pick up on the vibe and you can really feel it out.
I think for me at the beginning, I was just so nervous and like because Richard is a businessman, and I realized I'm not that, like, and that's okay. That's not me. I'm not in it for the sale. I'm in it for, like, I feel like I have an objective, and once I feel like, okay, I've done it, I'm very happy. And if you're not ready to move forward, that's fine. And if you're ready to move forward, that's fine. And that's okay. I just don't, I know that money is a realistic part of our life, but that is not what moves me. Even though I do want to be successful and not have to worry about bills. And, I know that my daughter is going to school and I'm paying for it now. I'm assuming that, as we had agreed on with my ex. And so it's a brand new world. Like priorities changed, but still I can't imagine, like, I really love what I do, and because I love what I do, I think I can really relax and be myself. and do my job properly.
It shines through. I mean, it's clear. It really comes through.
Thank you.
In our experience, from
Thank you.
from working with you. And have you ever had clients where they pretty quickly realized that they regretted it, or they wanted to move back to the States, or anything like that? Yeah.
Some of my clients are like, after we did a tour and had conversations post-tour, when they got it back home and everything, they were like, yeah, it's too wild for us.
Yeah.
Like, we are so spoiled. Like, that's fine. Just come on vacation. Like, if you really love Costa Rica, just come on vacation. Come and visit a couple times a year. It's really close. You don't have to, do whatever feels right. Like, yeah, we might maybe come and stay for a couple months. Whatever feels right. And I think I wanna touch on this gentrification, concept here, because there are a group of Costa Ricans that are being very loud and being kind of, just I don't want to say violent, but they're being very loud.
Okay.
And causing some noise about gentrification,
In terms of trying to resist people moving.
Yes.
Okay.
And saying that is wrong.
Yeah.
But I don't see it that way. I see, and this I learned at the University for Peace with the genius, professors. Like, sustainable development means still development, but it needs to be sustainable. So I think from an economic point of view, I think that yes, because that, I don't know if you know, but construction, let's say, codes are extremely strict here because of the earthquakes. This is a very, but also because of water availability. They want to make sure that land is properly, the inspections that a construction needs to go through to be able to move forward is insane.
Yeah.
So I think, yes, paperwork, but it's well done. So one thing, but I think that also, the water issue at the coasts and everywhere, I think the environmental laws in this country are very strict, and that is a good thing.
Yeah.
And the water resource is very, very treasured,
Right.
and we don't want to make, do you know what I mean? So I think development is wonderful because it brings more jobs and it makes an area more likable and valuable for tourists. It opens opportunities. Problem is, of course, the Costa Ricans or the locals do not really have money to take advantage of those opportunities and, let's say, open up a little souvenir shop or this or that. So they do more informal services, which is fine too. They can drive a truck or they can sell empanadas in a corner, and if they make lovely empanadas, they will have a clientele. You know what I mean? Like, just the fact that more people come.
Yeah.
I just think it needs to be sustainable.
Yeah, but Costa Rica is probably the most. It's one of the most successful countries in all of Central America, easily, and I think it's one of the most desired locations for people to come. And it has what it has today because of its governmental, environmental policies going back, really going all the way back to the 1950s, and I also think that it is what it is today because it's been relatively desirable for people to move here, and the economies have kind of all grown up together. I think that if it were an isolated country, it just wouldn't be what it is today at all.
Yeah. I think the fact that, and I think I talked to you guys about it, the fact that Costa Rica was the only sort of peaceful country, no military, no war, no guerrilla, nothing. Yeah. And like in between Panama and Nicaragua, and where Panama was supposed to be okay, but it wasn't. Like Noriega was always trafficking drugs, and he was involved. Nobody knew about it, but the U.S. did know.
Yeah.
So they knew how, and we were like always very open to the Americans and say, hey, come, like, settle here, do your thing. We knew that we were like the only place in this whole section of, this whole area, the Central American area, where they could actually like say, okay, I have a little bit of a base, not a military base, but like just a base of of people who can house me while we figure out what's going on and if we are in danger or not. So a big ally, I think. And so that really also makes sense because that's where the multinationals came later. And this is where everybody just kind of said, okay, this is where we're going to stay because it's going to be peaceful, it's going to be stable, and the rest, we don't know.
Well, why do you think, if we look back over the past 100 and 150 years, why didn't Costa Rica fall into the same traps as some of the other neighboring countries? I don't understand what separates.
Actually, it goes back to colonialism because when the Spaniards came to Central America, all the wealth, the huge territory, but also like silver and gold, and various other minerals were found in Guatemala. Okay. So that's where the Capitanía General was established. So you go to Guatemala and you'll be blown away by churches and it's just the infrastructure was insane. And then all the other countries had something. Costa Rica didn't have much. Okay. It didn't even have labor. In Guatemala, 80% of the population indigenous. Costa Rica, 6%.
Wow.
And it was wild like it is now. Okay. Wilder, of course. Yeah. Like mountains and rivers and ocean everywhere. And it was kind of a nightmare for them. Difficult to conquer. So it had a very different reality from every other country here in Central America. So we were mostly like an agricultural country. And so it was a different vibe, it was more like landlords and then the agriculture and powerful families, yes, but it wasn't like the rich and the poor. It was like, yeah, we're pals, like just do your work. If you're okay, we're gonna be friends. Not like it's just our idiosyncrasy. It's just different. Yeah. I don't know what it is, but we're just different. We're not. But then again, you can fall into people pleasing. And that is a very Costa Rican trait. That's a huge Costa Rican trait. And that is something that I did all my life. I just wanted to be liked and accepted and for people to say, oh, you're so nice. And I think that's also what happened to me, I think, through that whole time when I was married and I was working so much. And I just didn't really love myself. I was not, when I bumped into a friend who is actually like a naturopathic doctor, really 4 months after I had gotten divorced, separated, and she looked at me and I just told her this tragedy, right? Like, and then she goes, I'm wondering, what made you stay? And she crushed me. I was like, you're turning it on me? And she's like, I'm not turning it on you. I'm just trying to wonder, like, how come you stayed through that? And why did you also, just decided not to take your daughter out of that situation? I was like, okay, you shut me up.
Well, yeah, what I find interesting is how is it that you ultimately gained that self-awareness that you did, where you realized that you needed to change and that you were a people person, or did that just come naturally with time? Was there
it was pain.
Yeah, pain. Yeah.
The pain of the divorce and the pain of the situation that I found myself in, because I'm like, okay, I worked like a horse for years and years and I have nothing to show for it. I did have lots of clients and respect of my clients, but I was like, I have nothing. Like, my parents have to feed me, like house us, and and I started to feel sort of like a failure, but then I thought, no, wait. Okay, so I just, how when I don't think it's an awakening, but I think you just break down and then you put yourself back together, but you're just a different person. And so I tried religion to feel better. And then I realized, okay, like this is not, I've done that before and it was great. And I learned what I needed to learn, but that cycle is done. So I did go to therapy. I was working at McKinsey and therapy was included in the health.
Oh, wow.
So it was amazing. I didn't have to pay for it.
Yeah.
So therapy really helped just to realize, oh yeah, like you're not supposed, and I'm telling you, Jake, that was in 2016, and I'm still going through that process because I see that if you're coming over to my house, I prepare differently. If I'm just there, I don't prepare. You know what I mean? Like I don't love myself as much as I love you coming to my house. And so it's been a process, and I got rid of the maid that I had that was full time. And I just have somebody who comes over a few hours twice a week.
Okay.
And so now I'm learning how to take care of myself in my house lovingly. But it's a process, you know, and I feel guilty and ashamed that I haven't until now. And then I remember, wait a minute, like I'm doing it now, so I shouldn't be ashamed. But I'm being honest. I do. And yeah.
Well, that's super cool. I mean, you've lived such an arc of a life and had so many experiences and learned so many lessons and things like that. But so what's next? Anything you're looking forward to? Anything on deck? I mean, obviously your daughter's still into school. That's pretty exciting. Yeah.
I was thinking I was gonna move to the beach.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to.
Guanacaste?
Yes,
Yeah.
Guanacaste, North Pacific. But I don't know. I now really respect my intuition and I respect the flow.
How do you?
And it's not flowing for some reason.
How do you hear your intuition? What techniques do you have?
Do you know what? I feel it here.
Yeah.
I feel it. I always think that this is where my soul is. This is where like the conjunction of all my chakras is here in my heart.
Okay.
So
you listen to that.
Yeah,
sensation.
I've been meditating quite a bit. At the same time, I'm having a hard time getting off the screens. But it's my process. That's my reality. It's messy, right? Like I'm meditating, but I'm also like the moment I wake up, I'm like on TikTok. So it's a process, and it's fine. It's what it is. But every time I meditate, I always feel like, oh, because our teacher keeps saying, where does it feel in your body? Like whatever you feel, like where does it feel? So I'm like, oh, it always feels here. So I think it's been it's been a crazy year, Jake. It's been a very eye-opening, intensely transforming year. And in a very insignificant way, just like getting little hints, like, oh, you just get a feeling. It's like, oh, it's just paying attention to them, I guess. It's just being open to seeing what they are. I would love to meet somebody and have a relationship, and I say that, but I don't know what that is, really. I don't know. I'm not pushing for it. Sometimes I feel not lonely, but I feel like I'm alone a lot with my dogs. My daughter's always studying. And so I'm like, okay, well, this is just that time when I'm really getting to enjoy being with myself.
Yeah, I suppose it's another major transition that you're in the middle of because your daughter is, on the up.
Yeah, and because there's been such a crumbling of all the previous perceptions that I had of life in general. Like the one thing that I stopped doing things for the wrong reasons. So I stopped going to the gym. I said, I'm not gonna go because I wanna do it for the right reason. And I'm not gonna, and the same thing with dating. Like why am I really, like, what am I gonna do? I mean, if I really find someone that I can relate to and they can relate to me, and fine. And we'll just talk and be friends and whatever. It's odd. All of a sudden, dating has a very different meaning to me. And so I don't want to push it. I don't want to do it for the wrong reasons.
yeah, anything else you want to share, Anna, before we wrap it up?
Well, what I'm doing right now is going back to my clients, like you guys, and kind of, I want to really hear what you have to say, like what your experience has been like, because I want to learn from you, so that I can share with my new clients, potential new clients, so that, you know, we can all learn from each other. So yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
I wanna continuously grow and change and improve. That's who I am. Yeah, I'm just excited for what's to come and looking for that flow. Always looking for that flow. When I feel like, sometimes I feel it. It's not like you're gonna be in the flow all the time, but I'm always like, sometimes like at that concert Saturday, I was like, wow, this is good. This is the flow. I'm like enjoying myself. And I just treasure those little moments. So,
no, I find it fascinating just that there's so much more happening outside of our awareness than we can feel. And so, yeah, when you tap into those moments where you just feel and flow, and you get like almost like an out of body experience. And I guess all that is to say that I know that there's more happening underneath the surface than we give credit for, that's for sure.
Yeah. And I think it's brave to say it, because a lot of people were like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
Like I had a conversation the other day and they're like, that's all suggestion, you know, and like, you know, you can fall prey to, you know, if you meditate this way and the Reiki and this, I'm like, well, you know, it's how you choose to see it.
Yeah. Exactly.
But I don't agree. I think that, you know, you can, what happens when you close your eyes and you turn all the screens off? What's happening? And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, what do you feel? Like when you just close your eyes and you're just lying in bed and there's nothing out there, like what's happening? She's like, there's a lot going on. Yeah.
Exactly.
And so is that, she's like, well, you know, it's just like, yeah, I've been looking and lots of colors and information. Yeah, so you're just winding down. Yeah, but then what happens when you wind down? Then I fall asleep. I'm like, well, no, that's not how it is. There's a lot there. So it's good to just listen.
And why is it so difficult? Well, why is it so difficult for people to be still and to like actually just sit in silence for 5 minutes and close your eyes and not look at the screen? I mean, I think we're all just distracting ourselves sometimes, and we don't
all
want
the time.
to. Exactly.
All the time.
We don't want to know what's there. We don't want to face it. We don't want to look at it.
I think for me, you know, going back to your question, I think for me that my objective and my goal is to just look inward more and more. And that is priority in my life. I mean, along with taking care of my daughter and making sure that she's well and happy, and of course my parents. But you know, that's my goal. It's not about money. It's not about anything. It's about inward, where I can like, and I sit down now, and I'm so pleased with how I feel with myself. So that's a huge thing for me.
Sure. Oh, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Anna, for doing the podcast.
Thank you, Jake. This has been wonderful.
Yeah, this
Thank
is
you.
fascinating.
Wishing you all the best.
Oh, thank you.
I'm looking forward to reading your book,
Oh, yeah.
and I'm excited for you guys.
Thank you.
So, the best. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for joining us. If you want to find out more about us and our mission, check out brilliantlifejourney.com.